In today's video, I am going to be breaking down different motion basketball plays that could be used very successfully at the youth level for really young players. I'm going to be showing you basically an offense that can work against both zone and against man, but also the first play we're going to break down is really mostly highly used against zones because it overloads the sides. So let's get down and let's check out these amazing basketball plays. So this first play is against a zone. It's a 2-3 zone that I've set up here on the board. And basically what happens in a zone is, or at least the 2-3 zone when it's set up like this, is of course you're going to have usually the trap up top to force player one to go left or right. Some coaches will instead have a single coverage up top and then shift the zone just like so. There's different options that you will see. However, it basically all does the same thing when we start looking at this play. And that is, we're going to have player one dribble out towards the left or right side, and for sake of argument we'll have him dribble out towards the left side, and we will have player one pass the ball to player two. We will then overload the side and have player one cut down towards the low corner. When he does that, we're going to also have player five cut up to the elbow. When this happens, we are essentially overloading the side. We're going to be forcing player 5 to defend essentially 2 players. This can open up a lot of opportunities. For example, we could easily just pass into player 5, which would rise or raise up player 5, red, for the high post to low post pass. Now this may happen where if player 5 gets that ball, that could bring player 4, of course, in to defend player 4 blue, in which case we could kick it out for a 3-point shot. Or we could have a screen on player 4 where player 1 would then, of course, be in the key for that layup. Or what we could have, again, is just player 4 blue posting up on the inside of player 4 red for, the high to low post pass. Anytime we get this ball into the low post, we want player 3 blue on the opposite side to move down towards that corner. The idea here is if this collapses player 3 and potentially even player 2, we could kick it out for a 3-point shot, or player 3 could cut baseline where again post to post pass for that layup. If, for example, let's say player 5 gets that ball, this is being defended really well, and we wanted to swing it to the other side, we can then have player 3 move up top, player 5 pass that ball out, and then we'll have player 5 blue go back into the low post. This is going to be then bringing up these 2 players once again. And again, we could just pass it back over to the side because now, again, we're still technically in a 3-player overload, where now 1 player with that swing back is going to be guarding essentially 3 players. However, let's say we want to swing it from one side to the other. We would then have player 4 and 5 set up screens for player 1 to get to this side. Again, pass over to player 1, and then entry cut, and then cut up to the high post for player 4. Now we're back in that overload once again. And again, we're going to be seeing these players being in that type of defensive situation. Again, high post, we always want to get it back into that high post. Quick shot potentially, high to low post pass. Same options as the other side once again. So if you're seeing that you're running up against a zone defense really frequently, then an overload, or at least what I call a super overload offense, could work extremely well. There's an overload offense where you would have 3 players, almost like a triangle offense, on that side. And then there's what I would call a super overload where you would have those 4 players, and it's a fantastic option. Now this next play I'm going to show you is actually 3 plays in one, and all of them, or at least most of them, will work against a zone defense and a man-to-man. So this next offense is a 5-out offense. So if you wanted the complete guide to the 5-out offense, make sure to go check out the link down in the description below. So in the 5-out offense, there's 3 basic plays that I really enjoy against both the man and zone defense, and that is the pass and cut, where once player 1 makes that pass to player 2, you're going to then have player 1 cut to the basket, and if he's quick enough and player 2 is a good enough passer, we could get that ball into player 1 for that layup. Of course, if there's a help side defender who comes out, then we're going to be then having the potential ability to kick out to player 5 for the 3-point shot, or the swing for player 3 to have the 3-point shot. The other option is the pass and screen for the player you passed to, and of course, when we make that pass, we're going to screen for that player, and of course, player 2 could attack the basket. He could wait for player 1 to roll off of that screen for a pass and layup. However, let's say, for example, that's not open. It was defended really well. Well, then now we're going to have player 4 fill the top. Player 1 is going to be filling out, and now we're still in our 5 out so that we can still continue to run the motion, which the next part of the motion could be the pass and screen away. So, for example, player 2 makes that pass over to player 3, and at this time, we would then have player 2 after that pass screen away for player 4, and player 4 would then look to fill that point position. However, we really want to teach player 4 and all of our players how to use screens, where if player 4's defender goes over top of the screen, we would want player 4 to cut in towards the basket, because that leaves player 4 right out of position to guard that pass. If player 4's defender goes underneath the screen, we would then want him to pop out for that 3-point shot, or at least the continuation of the offense. And if, for example, player 4's defender tries to cut off that screen so that player 4 can't use it, then we would want to teach him to cut straight to the basket, or at least straight to the middle of the key for a layup. These are all fantastic options off of a screen, or at least off of an off-ball screen that you can use as a team. Again, whatever happens, we need to fill those spots where these players would then fill out for those same 5 positions as where we started. This is what constitutes a motion offense. You can basically start and stop in the same positions. Now let's say, for example, we're going up against a 2-3 zone. In a 2-3 zone, the same idea can work, where we pass over to that side, and then we would have player 3 have the ability to either have player 1 cut to the basket, which, believe me, a pass and cut works extremely well against a zone, because what's going to happen after you cut to the basket is if you get that ball quick enough, that can draw up player 5, potentially even player 3, and that leaves the baseline wide open for the corner players to cut baseline to get the ball, of course, passed to them for the layup. Fantastic options all the way across. However, with a great actually set play that you can run inside of the motion is this next one against a zone, and this is actually a very simple play to run, and you could really run it with any age of team. We personally call this play zone go, because we can use it against a zone, but it also works against a man-to-man too, where we would have the corners cut up to the elbows, and players 3 and 2 would move down to the corners. This opens up a lot of opportunities, because our first pass, we want to go into that high post, and when that happens, we're going to be seeing that the key is wide open for a high to low post pass, and that is going to be our number 1 option that we want to see happen. And believe me, you could literally run this 2 or 3 times in a row, and the defense is not going to protect against it. When they do start protecting against it, we'll do 2 different things. Number 1 is we're going to have player 1 cut over towards that wing where player 5 gets that ball, because that usually, when that pass goes into the high post, drops player 2 to defend that high post. When that happens, that leaves player 1 wide open for a 3, but also when player 4 clears out towards the opposite post, usually player 4 red has moved up so high to defend that high to low post cut, where player 2 now can cut from the far side, either towards the basket or to the free throw line extended. And when that happens, we can have player 5 still having the ball, for example. Player 5 would then be able to pass or a lob pass into player 2, which we've done multiple times very successfully at the junior high and senior high level. And one thing that I've seen a few times with my junior varsity team that I coach is the corner to wing cut, where player 5 can kick out to him for that 3-point shot. And this actually works extremely well, because when that pass goes out, for example, 4 cuts down at this point, if he clears out to this side, he would force player 2 to move up, which that kick out pass would lift player 4 and 1 as a defender out. And when that happens, we would have player 4 then clear out to the corner for the corner 3. Again, we've done this a few times at the junior high level, and it's worked extremely well. So there's a few plays that you can run that will move into a motion offense. That same last play is, even though it's a set play, can still move into that motion where we would just have, after the players fill out, player 5 maybe take a dribble or 2 up to the point, and now he can set up the offense once again. These are fantastic motion offenses that you can run with your team. I hope that this video has helped you. If it has, hit that like button, subscribe, make sure to go check out my 5-out complete guide down in the description below, and I'll see you guys again next time.